Hey yo, salute to all my subscribers and a special shout out to everybody else passing through. YouTube, what's good? All right, so this one here is gonna take a minute. I'm gonna get straight into it because I got some more shit to bring to y'all today. So let's get right into it. The Tekashi album dropped last week. Finally got a chance to listen to it last night. Listen to the whole album, front to back. Basically, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna break down each track. You know, whether I felt I liked it or not. Talk about any skip-worthy tracks, any tracks that I skipped, any tracks that I listened to, may have wanted to skip, but for whatever reason didn't. Now the songs on this album, they're pretty short for the most part. I think I don't know, the average song is really only like two and a half minutes. That's typically the trend now that you see nowadays with a lot of these new artists. And I understand that, you know, people have a short attention span with social media and YouTube and the way everything works now. So I get it. I'm not going to harp on that too much. First thing I'm going to say about this album, it's not too feature heavy, which I do like. You know what I'm saying? I feel, I've always felt like this. Mixtape should be where the feature heavy shit should be. You know, the throwaway music the artists put out there just to keep their buzz strong, right? Even singles can be feature heavy, but when it comes to an album, and I know the lines are blurred now with how we actually refer to music now. You know, we use more of a universal term. We call them projects. There's a blurred line between mixtapes and albums now, and then EPs versus LPs. It's all different now since music is digital now. Where back in the day it was CDs and actual tapes. So not too feature heavy. The features that are on the album, I guess I'm okay with the exception of maybe Kanye being on a few of the songs. Not really much of a Kanye fan these days, obvious reasons. Plus, a lot of the shit that I have heard him on lately, it just hasn't been up to the caliber that I'm used to hearing. You know what I'm saying? Being a fan of hip hop as long as I've been, and being a Kanye fan back in the beginning when he first started. All right, so I'm gonna go down the track list. Dummy. Oh, okay. So first of all, on Dummy Boy, right? The first thing I pay attention to, I wonder if most people do nowadays, but it used to be a big thing, right? Like back in the day, and I know I'm aging myself a little bit, but back in the day, when you would get an album, as you're playing the album, the first thing you would do is you would take out, you would open the CD cover. You would take out the CD cover was an actual like pamphlet. You could pull it out, and you can go through. You'll see all the credits. You'll see some artists would have like the actual lyrics, captioned for different songs. And you can go through and you can read, through some of the artist discography, and the album art was actually, it was a process. It told a story back then. So I still look for that now, right? Like even though music is all digital, there's still digital album covers, and I must admit the album cover on this album is dope as fuck. It goes in line with the whole Tekashi brand. He's a troll, and you see him on the album cover, and it looks like he's pissing on the floor, and it's like it's rainbow liquid. It's kind of dope. It definitely shows attention to detail, and it definitely shows that he knows exactly what his imprint in the game is. He's here to troll. He's not. He hasn't been. He's been upfront about that. You know what I'm saying? And this album cover goes in line with that. It was colorful. I thought it was dope. First track. The first song on the album, y'all could tell I'm still from the CD generation because I still say tracks. But first song on the album, Stupid. Was an okay song. If y'all have been listening to my reviews, my music reviews, then y'all know that one of the things I look for in a good song, it's not just always about lyrics, right? It's not just always about bars, because there's certain artists that you look for those things from. There's certain artists you're going to get lyrics from. There's certain artists you're going to get bars from. There's a difference. And there's certain artists that you just look to for them to flow inside of a pocket of whatever that beat is doing. You want to hear how that beat sounds. That's what I look for in a song. And then certain artists are able to marry all of those different qualities together and just bring you a dope ass classic album. Tekashi 69 is not that kind of artist. So, unfortunately, in this age of battle mumble rap, you got to look for other things, right? For people like me who have been around a little longer, where I'm more conditioned to listen to bars and lyrics first. I got to look for other things now in a lot of these new artists, and the only reason why I'm really even reviewing this Tekashi 69 album because I'm not really a fan or consumer of his music, but I will say that I can tell that there's a difference if you're open minded enough. I'm not a fan of Tekashi 69's music, but I can tell that if I was 15 years younger, I'm 35. If I was 20, right, in my early 20s or late teens, I could tell that I would like this music because this is what the new generation likes, and it has those qualities, and I see why they like it because it's catchy shit. So this first song, "Stupid," I thought it was an okay song, but I liked the bounce. The bounce on the beat was crazy. The vibe of the song is crazy. It's high energy, and the way that Tekashi 69 raps on this song, as in most of his songs, you get one of two versions of Tekashi 69. You get that kind of singing, dreary kind of Tekashi, or you get that high intensity, screaming, yelling type rap. And that's what he does. That's how he approaches this first song, "Stupid." And I think the fact that the bounce is so dope, the beat hits as hard as it does, I think that makes the song good. Obviously, a song like this, you don't really focus on the bars, although there were a few bars that popped out. You can't miss. He took some shots at Ebro. And they've had their long-standing issues as of late. But I thought it was overall a good song. The second song, Fefe, I don't know, featuring Nicki Minaj and Smurfs Beats. It was okay. I'm not really feeling the quality of the bars that I hear from Nicki these days. She doesn't have the same effect on me when I hear her bars and with her and features the way that she did back in like a 2007 2008. And I don't really know why that is. I can't even really say that there's a bias because of her recent battles that general public says that she lost, what with like the issues that she has had with Cardi and the issues that she had with Remy Ma, because to me personally, I didn't feel she lost that battle with Remy Ma. I didn't feel like Remy Ma was a better artist than Nicki, but neither here nor there. For some reason in recent years, I just haven't really been vibing with Nicki like that. So I'm not really too excited to hear that she's featured on a song unless that song is, not if she's the main person, like the main star on that song. If she's on a song with other people who are considered to be legends, then I'll listen to it because she seems to step her game up in those types of situations. But where clearly she would be the heavier artist on this song with a Tekashi 69. I didn't really feel too enthused about her bars on this song. But again, the beat, that's what you really focus on when you think of rappers like Tekashi 69. At least if you're in my generation, it's the beat, it's the fact that the song sounds like it has a lot of energy, and if there's anything in the beat that's catchy, usually it's the hook. So this song was just okay. TikTok featuring Lil Baby, I thought was trash. Just because nothing was being said, and I know the trend so far through the album is you're not gonna get lyrics and bars from Tekashi like that, but literally nothing was said on this whole song, literally. So I thought it was trash. The Kaika featuring Tory Lanez, the hook is fire. The hook is super fire. I can't deny that shit. Tory Lanez is one of those artists who's gonna give you a catchy hook. It's gonna give you a fire. When he is a feature on a song, he's gonna do his part to make that song as good as it can be with him being on it. The flow on the song, dope as fuck too. The bounce is dope. This is a good all around song. It's a good all around song. Again, you're not looking for bars from Tekashi, But this song, where the beat is good, the hook is fire, it's catchy, and the flow. When I say the flow, I'm not talking about what's being said. I'm talking about how it's being said, the pacing, and how well it fits in the pocket of that particular beat. So the flow goes well with the BPMs for that beat. The flow goes well with the overall tempo of the song, the way that it's moving, and it fits in the pockets right. And Tekashi, I noticed, right? Tekashi69, although I don't listen to a lot of his music, when I listen to music in general, I listen very intently, right? And I notice it's slight, but if you really are someone who pays attention to these types of things, you'll notice Tekashi has a habit of not rapping in pocket with the beat. He has a habit of being slightly, I'm gonna say slightly behind the pocket. Like you'll hear the beat and then like it's not like a total off beat. Like some rappers will rap slightly before the pocket. Some rappers will rap slightly like just inside the pocket. Some rappers will choose to rap to flow over the bass line. Some rappers will choose to flow over the snare. Like the rappers will find different pockets to fit in within a song. And Tekashi is just, he trails a little bit. It's like almost as if, like, you know, when you watch those old like kung fu karate type movies where you'll see the imaging and then you'll hear the words and then you'll see their mouth moving slightly after. It's kind of, if you pay attention, even though it's not visual, it's all audio. If you pay attention, that's almost kind of how Tekashi sounds. It's almost like the audio was pasted over the actual beat, but just not aligned exactly perfectly within the pocket, as you would find with like more of a tactical, technical rapper like a Fabulous. It's just slightly. It sounds almost like it's slightly offbeat a little bit. That's how Tekashi typically raps. I noticed that. So it's not like a perfect flow, but the beat was well chosen, I should say, for this song. I thought overall it was a good song. The Mama track featuring Nicki and Kanye. It wasn't trash, but it was nothing special. There was nothing special about it. As far as features go, right? If this was any other two features, like just somebody from his camp or any of the other artists in his, you know, in his class and his bracket or his, you know what I'm saying, like his group, it probably, I would say it's an okay song. But when you have two heavy hitters like a Nicki Minaj and a Kanye West, you know, on a song, you expect it to hit. You expect it to be better than what I felt this was. Some people may like it. I didn't think it was anything special about it. The Waka featuring A Boogie. Again, nice beat. It was upbeat, high energy. That's, as far as I'm concerned, the best that I can hope to get from a Tekashi69, just because I'm not somebody who's tuned into his lyrics. I'm not someone who's tuned into his bars, because he's not saying much. And the way that he raps, that high energy, screaming, yelling type of vocals that he lays down, it's hard to understand what the fuck he's saying anyway. And when I catch things here and there, it's like I notice he has a pattern of repeating the same shit. But again, it's catchy. You know what I'm saying? The younger kids like it, so I can't be mad at it. It is what it is. But it was a nice beat. It was upbeat. It was high energy. So I could definitely. It's one of those songs you definitely would hear at a party in a club. You know, shit like that. The Bebe track. Skip that. The Melee track, skip that. Skip those two. Not because I thought they were trash. I can't judge songs like that because they were Spanish songs for the most part, right? And this is just not my type of music. It's not about whether or not I understood it. It's just not my type of music. So I don't like to be unfair when there's music that's not my type of music. I don't want to be unfair and say it's trash when there's an audience that type of music is geared towards. So those two songs, which came back to back, I listened to a little bit of them and I skipped them just because not really my cup of tea. I'm sure there's an audience out there for it, so it's no disrespect on that end. So I skipped these two tracks, but not necessarily. I'm not gonna review the album as those songs really being skip worthy tracks, just because it's just not my type of music. They were not. It's not my demographic at all. So I'm not gonna minus points as far as how I felt the album, how good the album was, just because again that there's an audience out there who maybe is Spanish, who can understand exactly what is being said on that song, those two songs, and maybe they will have a different understanding of the song, and maybe they'll like it for what it is for them. So I can't say that it brings the quality of the album down. And I really didn't have crazy high expectations for the album anyway. So, to scratch those two songs off as tracks that I skipped, it doesn't really do much damage. Congo featuring Kanye. This song was okay. Okay, and this song, and it happened before this song. It happened on a couple songs before this one, but this was when I really noticed it. There's a few songs and a few points on the album where you could tell Tekashi's about to say Treyway, and he'll be like, "Yo, it's fucking," and they'll be like, "Nah, you can't say that. You can't say that." I thought that was funny as hell. I don't know. It's funny because it almost seems like it, with the timing of that on the songs and them saying, "Oh, yo, you can't say that. You can't say that." It's funny because immediately you think of all of the legal issues that's going on, and the fact that he's being associated with this organization that he's trying to separate himself from. But it's interesting because did he go back and plug these in, obviously before the arrest, but did he go back and plug these in after he decided he was going to start firing his camp and separate himself from all of the people who were stealing from him? Or was this just in there as a joke? But I thought it was funny, and it's noticeable, right? He doesn't even like he'll say something, and you can tell by how much he used to be like Treyway. You could tell that that's where he would fit that, and then somebody will come on the song and be like, "No, we can't say that no more. We can't say that." So I thought that was kind of funny. Nothing really else notable about that track. Kanye, it was a feature that didn't even need to exist, honestly. The FIFA shit, just didn't like it. I can't even really find. There was not. I didn't like the beat. I didn't like anything about it. The Toddy song, high energy song, very high energy song. Good beat, dope bounce. He's saying nothing though. It's typical Tekashi69. He's not saying anything worth listening to, but because it's a song, because it's on an album, you gotta have words, I guess. And so I think that's really, there should be a whole new subgenre or category for these types of rappers, right? And I understand, why the generation of hip hop that I come from, why we look at this type of music a little bit different, because it essentially is an instrumental with words here and there. And when you're just repeating the same words over and over and over again on a song, I don't think you should classify it in the same genre as the type of rap, the type of hip hop that like I grew up listening to. I understand it's different. I understand the music industry and hip hop as a culture has to continue to evolve and progress. I understand that, but they shouldn't group everything in together when it's clearly a different, like, it's like a whole different subdivision of the culture of hip hop, and that's fine. It should be respected, but it should have its own lane, because in this song is like the epitome of that principle. He's just not saying anything. But it was a good beat though. The Wando shit. This is, I don't know why, but when I was listening to this song, it was the first time during this album, near the end of the album, that I actually thought out loud, like, yo, it's interesting how, and I'm curious to know what y'all think, it's interesting how all of Tekashi69's beats on this album, they sound crazy similar. but I wouldn't say that they sound the same. You see what I'm saying? Like there's enough of a difference that it has its own kind of unique feel to it. You could tell though, and I'd be interested. I didn't fact check, but I'd be interested to know if every single song that was high tempo, high energy, if they were all done by the same producer or producers. But they're very similar, not necessarily in how they sound, but that the same approach. Like they're geared towards being high energy, high intensity, very high BPM per minute beats, and that's where it seems like he does his best. If you'll notice, the songs on the album that I really didn't like or didn't have much to say or skipped them, they were very slow tempo songs. And on those types of songs, he's doing more of a like dreary type, slowed down type singing, rapping. I don't really. The only person I think who ever really pulled that off was Drake, and I don't even like when he does it anymore. Last song, Dummy, was just so. I mean, I don't really have much to say about that song. Overall, the track list, it wasn't too crazy. It wasn't too long. It wasn't too short. It had more songs on it than I would have thought you would have gotten from a Tekashi69 album. However, the songs were shorter. So it kind of evened it out because these types of artists, it's just my opinion, don't want to listen to them for that long. Like, you know how back in the day, there would be certain artists that they would be dope on features, they would be dope on hooks, but you don't want to hear them for a whole album. And the Tekashi69, for all of the fanfare, for all of the attention that he gets right now on social media for his music, not the other shit, for his music. The music is good for what it is. You know, you don't have to be a fan of something to say that it's good, and it is good, and I could tell why the people who like it do like it. But I don't want to hear him for a whole album. So the fact that the songs were kind of truncated, I appreciate that. So it wasn't the album, even though I didn't like it, or I didn't necessarily dislike it. It wasn't a painful listen. Like I had no problem listening to the album, devoting an hour to just listening closely and seeing if, you know what I'm saying, exactly how I felt about it, and sitting with it for an hour and a half. It wasn't a painful listen. You know, some tracks I listened to slower, some tracks I listened to again just to make sure that I wasn't being too biased one side or the other. And it wasn't a hard listen. I will give it credit for that. Some albums I listen to I don't like. They're just painful to get through. But, you know, when you're a fan of music, you try to consume, you know, as much art as possible, you know, in that art form, just because you want to be fair to the culture if you're really a true fan. So I did want to give this album a chance. It did debut at number 2. Obviously, you know, a big part of that is going to be behind all of the attention that Tekashi69 is getting because of the indictment and, you know, the upcoming trial next fall. So it's not strictly because of the music, but I mean, his career so far has been based on the trolling and the entertainment and the attention outside of the booth and off the stage. But it did debut at number 2. If it stays there, or if it moves up to number 1 over the course of this week or next week, then I'll know for sure if the people who are following him are really in it for the music because they like the music, or if it's just because I think a lot of people tuned into this album to see what, if anything, would possibly be said related to, you know, what's going on with him right now as far as the legal troubles go and what issues he have with people. If you were going to hear him dissing or calling out certain people, I don't know why that would have been the thought though, because the album for the most part I believe was done long before all this shit happened, and it was already in the process of being put out. Because people don't realize there's a process in mixing and mastering and finalizing songs and a project to put it out. It's a little bit of a process, and that can sometimes take a few weeks. With a track list as long as this one. And that was pretty much it, man. Overall, I would say I would give the album I guess not being biased, I would give it a I would give it a 7 out of 10 because I can see that there's replay value there because of the fact that the production is good. The beats sound good. You can play them at any party, any club. There are a few songs where the hooks are catchy. And I know that the following that he has, they're gonna bump this music because it's the type of music that they're into. And as far as him and the other artists who are like him and does what he does, it is in line with that music. You know what I'm saying? Like it is in line with the type of music that fits in that subgenre that I feel like should be created for this type of music. So by those standards, it's very good. It's just by the standards of how I'm trained to listen to music, what I'm trained to listen to and look for. It doesn't, it's not even on my radar. But for that type of music, for what it is, for all of those, for the Lil Yachty's and the Lil Uzi verts and the Tory Lanes and the Trippy Reds and all of them type niggas, the Migos, for that type of subset of hip hop is very good. I would rate it up there, but overall I would give it a 7 out of 10 because it was put together well. The beats are good, the production's good. He does have some high level features on there. You can't ignore that. The only two tracks that I did skip, like I said, were the two Spanish feeling songs that really just not for me. And other than that, I don't think I skipped any other tracks. Not to say that I liked them all, but I didn't really dislike any of them except for the one that I mentioned. Which one was it? Well, the TikTok was trash, and I legitimately didn't like FIFA. Other than that, I didn't hate any of the other songs. So anyway, let me know what y'all thought about the album. I got it 7 out of 10. Right now, it's number 2 on the top 100 Billboard, and we'll see what it. And that's a short week, so that's not bad. It's a short week, so we'll see what happens this week. And yeah, let me know what y'all think about it. Like, comment, and subscribe. I don't pretend to know everything. I just know what I know. Let me know what y'all think about this one, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace and love.